What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? My name is Prodigy and welcome to our video on the channel. Today guys, I have a very interesting piece of information for you. Something I dug up from a while ago that I have covered in the past when it first came out, but something that after Kingdom Hearts 3, after 0.2, after 2.8, a lot of people don't really refer back to, don't remember, and there are some reasons for this, but for the most part, these things aren't really covered in their respective games and future games that they were supposed to be teasing. So a lot of you probably remember before Kingdom Hearts 3, for about 2-3 years, we had Kingdom Hearts orchestras going around. I was fortunate enough to go to one of them. I went to one in Philadelphia in about August of 2018, I believe, and it was an absolute blast, one of the best experiences of my life. But during some of these orchestras in Japan specifically, during 2016 and 2017, they actually received exclusive backstory on certain cutscenes that we will later see in Kingdom Hearts 0.2 and in Kingdom Hearts 3. These cutscenes involve Naminé and the Lingering Will, and we have some backstory for Kairi and Xion. This is a lore that was widely forgotten by a lot of the community that isn't referenced that much to this day. And for a lot of people who came after Kingdom Hearts 3 and after 2.8, which there's a lot of people, you guys straight up just don't even know about this. Understandably as well, because it's not like this is something that was widely known. I mean, this was dialogue exclusive to Japan for a little bit and was only translated on sites like KH Insider or KH13. So if you didn't know about it at the time or weren't following the Kingdom Hearts YouTube scene in 2016, 2017, then you know nothing about this. I did in fact make videos about this when they did happen. Yes, I was still around in 2016, but I started thinking that a lot of new Kingdom Hearts fans probably do not know about this whatsoever. And I did a poll on YouTube late last night, and a lot of you don't know about this actually, which I'm surprised even this many of you, this percentage of you don't know about this. Like, I was expecting it to be closer to 50-50, but it's straight up just like non-debatable. A lot of you don't even know what I'm talking about. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and cover all of these, read off the dialogue to you, and explain to you what exactly these scenes led up to, what context they serve, and why this would have been better to be in the game, you know, in full capacity rather than just the resulting end of these interactions. So we're going to start off with the first one that we got, the Lingering Will and Naminé one. The story for this is that Naminé, following Sora's heart, ended up where the Lingering Will was, leading to that cutscene in 0.2 with Aqua and Terranort. This place, this is a world of your memories. You're the only one the people of this time don't know the whereabouts of. I made it this far by following the links of those connected to you. Who are you? Nice to meet you. I'm a witch who manipulates memories. A witch? Right now, you're bound by two sets of memories. One is your own memories. The other is that of a very dark power, Master Xehanort. Soon you'll be touched by a familiar light. Please guide her so that she isn't confused by the darkness. She, Aqua. But I can't do anything the way I am now. Everyone is fighting in the ways that they can. I want you too to believe in yourself and fight so that your heart doesn't melt into the darkness. We will all make it to the same place, you see, Aqua. Then, someday, no matter what, then the unknown plays. I've never forgotten what happened on that day. I'll make it here and show you, no matter what. So during 2016, when we got this dialogue, this was a big surprise to kind of hear about, because Naminé and Terra were two characters we did not think would ever really interact like that, especially considering like the time frame in which those characters, you know, started existing. Naminé didn't exist at all until the end of KH1/Chain of Memories, so this was a very bizarre interaction to even hear about in general, but this leads up to the cutscene you end up seeing in Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, and the cutscene you see in the final world with her as well. Naminé ends up actually playing a pretty big role in Terra's return, and this was the first sneak peek instance that we saw of this. I don't know exactly how she got into contact with Terra. I mean, they say by following Sora's heart, but how does Sora's heart end up leading to Terra? I guess through Ventus, maybe then that would lead to Terra, but very bizarre the specifics of how exactly Naminé was able to do that. But she helped Terra, helped Lingering Will get to that fight in the Keyblade Graveyard. She helped Lingering Will get into contact with Aqua in the Realm of Darkness when she was at her like low point, and would even help guide Aqua, and in return Aqua would end up kind of giving him a reason to continue on as well, and a lot of that is because of Naminé. So this is context that I feel like is very much appreciated. But like I said, we do see a little bit of this in Kingdom Hearts 3, but in 0.2 you get nothing. You get nothing like this. You won't even hear about Naminé in 0.2. So it's funny that this cutscene leads to 0.2, but Naminé is not even in that game. So this is something that straight up just is not really covered. Alright, so next up we have not really any major dialogue interactions, but we have a letter from Kairi, and we also have some thoughts from Xion. So on Kairi's end, this is very similar to the letter that she wrote for Sora in Kingdom Hearts 3. However, there's a tiny bit of differences here, but it's not too different. You can go without this, I'd imagine, but it's not super groundbreaking or anything, but it's another one of those things that's just super nice to know. I didn't notify you, but you might have already heard from Yensid-sama. I've come to train to become a Keyblade wielder. Until now, I've only been waiting for you guys to come back from your journey. Maybe with this, I can at least help out a little. The magician Merlin-sama can use magic that surpasses time. Here we can forget about the flow of time. Isn't it great? Lee's training with me. He apologized to me over and over again. It's alright, I'd say, but he'd keep on apologizing. At first I was a bit scared, but as we trained together, we started talking to each other. I found out Lee has a best friend he wants to save. I felt like he's not a person that I can bring myself to hate. Sometimes he'd stare at my face, so I'd ask him, "What's wrong?" I don't know, but I feel like it's something I must recall, he'd say. Your journey is a journey that will help many people, and the people you'll meet from now on. I have a feeling these people you meet will also need your help. The journey might be hard, but please stay as the cheerful and bright Sora I know, because your smile will save many hearts. So this is essentially the same dialogue you hear from the letter Kairi writes in Kingdom Hearts 3 in the beginning of that Secret Forest cutscene, but a little different, I'd say. Like, there's some things that are very familiar here, like the part where she talks about Lee staring at her, or him apologizing, very familiar to what she said during that cutscene. But there's a couple things here that aren't exactly said. I don't know if they're said in the Japanese dub or not, but in the English dub at least, which is what I'm most familiar with. So this is something that we did later see in Kingdom Hearts 3. I'd imagine that this dialogue was both expanded upon and changed up just very slightly, though overall with the same message when the final game came out. I'd imagine voice acting wasn't even done for this yet, not fully at least, though saying that the voice actors did come on stage and say these lines, so I mean, maybe they were and they were probably just changed up later or expanded upon. Now we also have one for Xion. This will be the final one we'll be talking about today. Now the one with Xion, I'd say from what I've read, I think I did reference this in the past as well, but this is very similar to her character file. For those of you that don't know, Square Enix released a book like a year ago, last February, called the Kingdom Hearts Character Files, which contain a lot of exclusive stories for each of our characters. We don't have full confirmation of whether all of those stories are canon or not, but reading the stories, all of them myself, which I've covered extensively on the channel as well, nearly all of the stories except for a couple of Disney characters, canon or not, they all just add to the characters, flesh out their personalities, or flesh out their perspectives on certain cutscenes, not really changing any major events or anything. But with Xion, this is another short one, so let's go ahead and read, and this will be the final one I have to show you. On the day you first called my name, it made me feel like I had a heart. If I hadn't met the two of you, I wonder how my everyday would have been. Day by day, repeating the days, which were the same as every other. Even so, the red, setting sun, the taste of ice cream, those days when nothing happened were the most precious to me. All of it is my treasure. Thank you for calling out my name. Thank you for inviting me to the clock tower. Thank you for picking up shells for me. Thank you for coming to bring me back. Thank you for letting me be your friend. I wish those same old days could have continued on longer. We wanted to go to the sea, and that's where it ends. All right, so these were all the exclusive backstories that happened during the Kingdom Hearts Orchestra. Some of these we would later see interpretations of or the results of in Kingdom Hearts 3. So things like the Naminé and Terra interaction, we straight up just wouldn't see at all. I mean, maybe some of these are in the files of the game or something, just somewhere deep and hidden, but I feel like these provide like further context and certain perspectives on characters that we otherwise would not have had as much of, or at least are better off now knowing about. I definitely find it really weird that the Naminé and Lingering Will cutscene especially didn't end up making it into a full-fledged game, though we did see like them talked about in Kingdom Hearts 3, like we know that Naminé contacted Lingering Will. We didn't actually see Naminé, you know, talk to Lingering Will like we did here. Not in any super direct way anyways. Personally, I'm not too fond of like stuff like this happening, but it is cool to go back and like find out. Like reading this, I have a lot of fun reading this, but what I'm not fine with necessarily is things like this just being exclusive, I guess. But I know it was a really cool moment for the orchestras. It was a really cool moment for the people in attendance, even though not everyone got to experience it, but it was still pretty cool for the people who were able to experience it at that orchestra. But preferably, if things like this happen at all, they should either later be put into the games, whether it's in some document or something, or they should be like public knowledge, not something that like nearly 90% of people on this poll just don't know about. But outside of that, that will be about all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for coming out, and shout out to KH13, which are the people I've covered this from today, who translated these moments when they happened. But other than that, if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like, share the video with a friend or family member, and last but not least, if you have not already and want to become a part of the union, all you have to do is hit that red subscribe button down below. My name is Prodigy, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out, you guys. Bye.